Hi everyone, it's the Comic Fan Man here coming at you with another video. And in today's video we're going to have a look here at the two phases of Onslaught figures. These were both Build-A-Figure waves, and I just happened to be going into my favorite comic book store today and they had them both on display. So I was like, yeah, I definitely need to get these. I have wanted these Build-A-Figure waves ever since I learned about them, and I'm happy to have gotten them. And they're really expensive in the aftermarket in eBay. I got them for like a fraction of the price, and I was so happy. I know that Hasbro is doing their Marvel versus Capcom Gamerverse line now, and I'm pretty sure I saw on one of the Hasbro Facebook pages that they're gonna announce a new Onslaught based on the Marvel versus Capcom video game. However, I could not, at the price that they were giving me, I could not pass up getting these two. I don't know what Hasbro's gonna do to update the figure, or what he's gonna look like, or if they're gonna have something like this where you can put armor on to make him look like this at the end, because that's the way Toy Biz did the first Onslaught, where he looked like the knight figure, but you also had attachments to make him look like this one. But these figures are amazing. Both of these are like the completed Build-A-Figures, and I love them. I think they look spectacular. This one is more recent. They did this one about 10 years ago, and this one from Toy Biz is about 20 years old. And look at what they did 20 years ago. That's pretty crazy. And this one, I believe, is based on the design by either Andy or Adam Kubert. They're the ones that kind of did this knight armored style. And this one is done by Joe Madureira. Very Joe Mad-like in this design. Really amazing figures. And I was so happy to get both of them completed Build-A-Figures. All right, let's have a look. All right, so up first, this is the Hasbro version, and this is actually the most recent version. I believe the Build-A-Figure was known as Red Onslaught because he came with the red skull head. However, I wasn't collecting figures at that time, and I wouldn't have wanted the red skull head anyway. I wanted this. I would have wanted this one for the Onslaught head, because this is the way Onslaught was for me. I didn't know, or not that I didn't know, I wasn't collecting comics when the Red Skull became Onslaught. My Onslaught was the original Onslaught from early 2000s. And they did a spectacular job. And if I remember correctly, the artist that designed this Onslaught was Andy Kubert. I believe he was the one that came up with this like armored version. And look at this. Hasbro did a really nice job with this. I'm probably going to change this out for an actual cape, because I really don't like the way this sits on his back. It looks kind of flat, where this all should have been like one piece. I don't know. Well, I guess it's because it was part of the Build-A-Figure wave, so they had to do this one separately. But I'm going to see if I can find a way to attach like a purple cape. But he's really good. And just so that you see, the pauldrons, they do stop the shoulder articulation, but not that much, because there is some kind of cutout here. So his shoulder is only going to go up that much anyway. So the shoulder pauldron is not really the issue. It's the way the shoulder is designed. It does do 360. That's not an issue. It's got the bicep swivel and all that. The articulation is actually really very good. But yeah, the shoulder pauldron, in case you're thinking that that's what limits the shoulder range, it doesn't. He's got good ab crunch there. The head articulation is a little limited because it's got this big old purple crown around him. The back looks really good. I love the way this looks. Yeah, they did an amazing job with this Build-A-Figure. I love it. It does look really well done. The armor, the purples are metallic. The red is a shiny red, but it's not metallic. So it looks really good. I do think that Hasbro did a really fantastic job with this figure, and he's very big. He's in the 8-inch size for sure. All right, let's take a look at his final form. All right, so here is Onslaught in his final form, and I love this look. He looks like such a crazy, wild, like bug type creature. And yeah, in this form, he absorbed Professor Xavier, Franklin Richards, Nate Summers. Like, he had all their powers. Magneto. He was amazing. I loved this character. But look at this. This figure is older than the Hasbro one by a lot. But look at all the articulation that it has. Pretty crazy. Like, Toy Biz did a really outstanding job with this figure. Like, all 6 of his little finger digits are articulated. He's got the bicep swivel. He's got forearm swivel there. These pads go out. He's got head rotation there, but this crustacean part of his head also rotates, and this one also rotates. So that's kind of neat. I love that face there. That's really amazing. And he's got like wash all over the place. Like, this is a Build-A-Figure, right? So all of these parts came with different figures. So this leg is much darker than this one, but you know, it doesn't bother me. I think it looks really cool. It gives him this really weird, like bug-like finish to it. This almost reminds me of those, you know, the guard creatures from the Dark Crystal. Remember, like, they had all these kind of like weird shells. And the articulation point here is pretty good. The legs are this weird, like, reverse, like, bug ankles, and it's really awesome. I love that knee pad look. Like, the detail, sculpt, and paint wash on this, man, for when it came out, this is outstanding. He's a little loose because his hands are really heavy. And he is older, so there is some of that to be expected. But this is a wonderful figure, and this was the one that was designed by Joe Madureira. And I gotta say, this is one of the I never saw this figure. And this is probably one of the only figures that Marvel Legends ever produced that actually looks like Joe Madureira's art. Very much with the expressive hands, the crazy face there. This, like, Joe Mad was always good at doing these kind of wild fantasy style artworks. And so I think if I remember correctly, he was the one that designed the final form of Onslaught, and I love it. I think he just came out spectacular. Toy Biz really did a fantastic job with this. Here they are next to Masterverse, and Masterverse is a true 7-inch scale, so yes, you can definitely see There is no there is no doubt about how big they are compared to him. They are definitely bigger than Masterverse. So, but yeah, if you can definitely see them in a, in a fantasy setting. So yeah, you can put them in Motu. Why not? Some kind of fantastic creatures. You could definitely see Onslaught as a knight in armor for a fantasy sword and sorcery style setting. I think that looks really nice. And here I have them with my own old man Captain America here. And yeah, Marvel Legends Hasbro is now in the 6-inch scale. And yeah, I think this looks awesome. Especially him paired up with him because their finishes are very similar. Yeah, I think that looks great. And here they are with the Son of Odin Thor from Diamond Select Toys. And yes, he is in the 7-inch scale. He's bigger than most of the Marvel Legends figures. And yeah, as you can see, they're still bigger. All right, here they are alongside the Mythic Legions figure. And this is Sir Gideon. And as you can see, Sir Gideon is in about the 6.5, 7-inch range. And you can see they tower over him. That's pretty cool. And again, the detail goes really well with these guys. I think that's really nice. All right, to find somebody in their height, I had to go ogre scale for Mythic Legions. And this is where they're comparable. I dig it. All right, so if you wanted to use Onslaught in a D&D style setting, here you go. I gave him a sword here from Doom Eternal. This is the Doomslayer's energy sword there, and magic effect to shoot out of his hand. Going up against Warduke, and I think they look really good together. It's cool because Warduke has this blue helmet and red eyes with the blacked out face, and Onslaught has the red helmet with the blue eyes and blacked out face. So they're almost like, helmet wise, they're like opposite of each other. But I think this looks cool. It does make him look like a Crimson Knight. And shooting out some kind of magic fireball there. And Warduke has to deflect it with his sword. I think that looks really good there. So I love this Onslaught because, yeah, you could definitely put him in a sword and sorcery setting. Alright, so here is the final form Onslaught with the only other figure that I have here that is definitely based on 100% Joe Madureira's artwork. For me, the Abyss Knight is definitely in the running for the figure of the year for me. And yeah, you can see very much callbacks to the Joe Madureira's art is the hands. The hands here, they look very much like Joe Madureira's art. This face here on the side kind of looks like that face. If you saw him in the comic book, obviously he looks exactly like that. And yeah, it's an amazing figure. And it's the first like major toy company that did a figure that does look like Joe Madureira's artwork. Like all the other figures that they did, Toy Biz, and even today Hasbro, any of the figures that they've done that's supposed to be based on Joe Madureira's art, none of them look like it, but this one definitely does. And I love it. I think it looks fantastic. And as I mentioned before, during the Abyss Knight video, Joe Madureira was my classmate, and we shared love of a lot of fantasy movies back then. You know, we as a group, we used to hang out and at the lunch table and talk about the fantasy movies and comics and all that. So yeah, and Dark Crystal was definitely one of the movies that we all talked about. So I think that is where he got the idea for this. Obviously, I can't confirm that, but that's kind of initially what I thought when I first saw this character in the comics. especially when he turned around and he showed the backside was all that plating. I was like, oh shoot, he looks like that crab characters from the Dark Crystal. And you know, Toy Biz did a fantastic job bringing his art to life. I never knew this figure existed. I thought this was the one figure that was faithful to Joe Mad's art, but this one is as well. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this look at Onslaught. Both Build-A-Figure waves, one from Toy Biz and one by Hasbro, that covers both versions of Onslaught. And I think they are absolutely stunning, amazing. And I am so happy to add them to my collection. These were definitely a surprise. I wasn't expecting to have these. But yeah, my comic store had them. So I was like, yeah, I definitely got to get them. And yeah, I love it. For me, as a comic book collector, you know, I have been collecting comics all my life up until the X-Men Onslaught storyline. For me, the X-Men Onslaught storyline, the way it concluded, the fact that Onslaught successfully wiped out the entire Marvel universe, for me was the pinnacle of comics, and it was the perfect exit point for me as far as collecting comics regularly. I still will buy like graphic novels and you know, one-off storylines every now and again, depending on, like, you know, how good they are. But I'm just not into comic books like I used to be. But for me, the onslaught of the Marvel Universe was the perfect exit point. I had no problem. I left at that point, and then I know, like, they did some story arc where the artists from Image were drawing their versions of, like, you know, the Hulk, Captain America, and all the other random comic book characters that Onslaught wiped out. But for me, I stopped where Onslaught wiped them all out. Where they were wiped out completely, that was it for me. It was a beautiful ending. I loved it. It was a heroic sacrifice to save the Marvel Universe. And for me, that's kind of where it all concluded. I was a big X-Men fan. X-Men was definitely the comic book that I was collecting the most. Back then, I was collecting, you know, all versions of it. X-Men, X-Factor, Uncanny X-Men, Excalibur. Like, that was the biggest part of my collection. And, you know, seeing Professor Xavier getting corrupted by the darkness that was in Magneto, and, you know, creating Onslaught. And then, you know, I was like, okay, well, like, I fully expected, like, the Avengers to, like, wipe them out. But for me, Professor Xavier was always the most powerful mutant. I was like, I know they're gonna probably punk him out. But the fact that he absolutely wiped them all out, for me, it was perfect. It was the perfect ending to that story arc. And now I have those figures. I have those characters in figure form, and I'm so happy, you know, having the two designs by Andy Kubert and Joe Madureira of two different styles of the same character. Beautiful, love it. Mwah, chef's kiss. And I can't wait to put them up on my display. I don't normally collect comic book style characters unless there's some kind of sword and sorcery aspect to them or look to them. But being able to have both versions of Onslaught, yeah, I could not pass that up. I love it. All right, if you enjoyed this video and feel that I've earned it, please give me a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye now.